Hello and welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today. I'm going to be bringing you the Soul Purpose Saturday, which is the weekly inspirational sermon about life purpose and direction according to the deified energies of the universe. So I've already connected with the energies of the deck. I connected with the Empress card, which would be Venusian energies in an earth sign. Basically the goddess Hathor. And the cards are ready. Seems like we've been having technical difficulties this week. So I'm just going to jump out with these energies. I'll still shuffle the minor arcana for the guidance here on the channel. So, okay. The Emperor, the World, Justice card, the Hermit card, okay, and we have Seven of Swords, Seven of Cups, Queen of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Four of Cups, Eight of Pentacles. On the bottom of the deck, the triplicities we'll be working with today. Ooh, two Venus cards. Venus in Pisces, also known as the Star card. Venus in Taurus, also known as the Empress. Both Isis and Hathor are out. And in the center of the deck, we have Renewal for the Doreen Virtue. I believe it's the Archangel cards. No, do not quote me on that. I feel that is not accurate. I'm going to have to put it in the show notes if I remember. You, of course, can ask me, but this is the Judgment card. It's called here Renewal, all right? And that's in the center. So we'll start with the alchemy here, and we'll move out to the actual physical planes. And remember, this is a briefing, so what I'll do is link to the show, in the show notes, to the actual temple expansion. Basically, we'll expand and do church service online, but in the temple. So let me get in here. Okay. And welcome. Okay, so I'm going to call out some stuff here. Pardon me, you don't need to pay attention if you don't want to. Not what I meant. You don't need to follow along just yet. I'm just going to say some things out loud so I can gauge myself, because there's a lot of divergence here. Not a lot. Well, there is a little bit of connectivity. Okay, so the Sun, Mercury, Saturn, and the Moon, Venus, the Sun, Venus, the Moon, Venus, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, Venus. So clearly Venus is here on the board. The Moon is also joining in. And then in terms of pairings, so there's a point here about perfecting the self, okay, refining all of the illusion. So Maya. I'm hearing the word Mahamaya, which means the greater illusion. So there's something about incarnation here. I'll pull it out. I'm just gauging myself right now. Okay, and going on the path, it's Venus to Venus. So, Venus, what I'm getting right now is talking about what happens when we incarnate, what happens when we're here in the physical dimension of life. And there is a matter of perfecting the spirit to gain entry into the higher self. But understand, Venus is being incarnate, and it's the refining the self and then perfecting the self. And it can be a 2 or 3 level thing, maiden, mother, crone. Oftentimes, especially in these last amount of cycles with the collective consciousness right now, it's more of a two-level thing. Most of us have come in already having had other lifetimes where we gained a lot of the bearings, a lot of the beginnings of the cycle that we're completing here now. Very few people on earth in this moment are, especially incarnate in a physical body, are beginning cycles. This is more of the culmination and the completion of cycles. So the cycle itself is about the needs we have to be spiritual, to be independent, to be fiery, to assert ourselves in the physical dimension, our future pacing. I'm hearing that word. Also, weeding out the things that are kind of misaligned with our spiritual consciousness, and then connecting back into the higher self, the higher spirit. Now, it's a lot of closing out of cycles. Again, I want to say that. But it's according to universal order, universal balance, and gaining a securement here in the physical world. So what that looks like is really, okay, well, I'll say this. You know, what we're doing already, is we are I'm hearing that song. We all come from the goddess, and to her we are reborn like a drop of rain falling to the ocean. I just don't know why I'm hearing that song right now. So what we're already doing is the hermit, okay? So we're looking for self-reflection, but I'm actually hearing that we're a gatekeeper in some way, shape, form, or another, and it's probably in relationship to the closing out of cycles. So what we're doing already is keeping in mind what we need to do to close out cycles, number one, and keeping in mind what we need to do to be independent. So that would involve soul searching, but it's really looking for answers inside of ourselves, connecting to the spirit, understanding that we've kind of gotten to the bottom of what it means to be conscious incarnate, consciousness incarnate. That's what this hermit's talking about. I'm really seeing a lot of the sacred spiral in that 9. And then it says, well, why we're here, or why we're at the table today in service, what we're looking for in terms of answers is that sacred balancing, that cosmic weaving, in the sense of, well, everything should be moving into alignment. I've gone to the dark side, I've gone to the light side, so let me now be balanced. I don't need to work the left-hand path, I don't need to work the right-hand path. I'm going to walk the middle path. I'm going to go the middle way, the middle pillar. Okay, and I'm just going to put this up on camera. That's what I'm hearing. I'm not reading the cards traditionally right now. I'm getting a lot of intuitive messages. And then what we're needing is the closing out of cycles. So yeah, I would say most cycles are done. It's just the experiencing of that here in the physical. But also realizing that we have all of life kind of at our fingertips, even if we don't feel it. And even if we do have all of life at our fingertips, we're not at the moment where we can perceive that or materialize that or see the tangible aspects of that. So there's a connectivity that we're going to need to feel here, an imagining or an embodiment of the completion of the cycle through the gate. So our gate is normally the heart chakra, but it's always about our spiritual body, so our aura, our energy field. Realizing and owning and aligning with the fact that we are completing cycles here in this lifetime, that is going to give us what we need. The gift to give is the stability, the foundations, the mechanisms, the methodologies for structures in our life. Build our life up as spiritual people. Allow the wake-up calls to come. So we do need to build some type of foundation for spirit to come and communicate with us on a regular basis, for the miracle to be delivered and have a field, a garden, a resonance, to be not just the seed to be planted, but to grow into a bountiful abundance here in the material. So the 7 of Cups in the root, it does need us to make some type of spiritual decision, it being cups, but about the soul union. And remember, 7 is the number of spiritual power. It also typically is where you'd find a lot of Venus and Saturn energy, I would say. So what's coming at us and what's already kind of shown up is the work to do in order to have a clear movement forward. And the clear movement forward would be to move out of emotional waters into calmer waters. Now the emotional turbulence would be the Seven of Cups as well, to realize that, okay, things are topsy-turvy, so that we can have the friction. Sometimes it's emotional friction, sometimes it's ego friction, so to arrive at an outcome. The outcome is the epitome of our spiritual power here in the physical. And there's something that we need to do. Yes, we need to figure things out. That's the 8 energy, 8 of Pentacles there. But it's also work. Let's be in alignment with ourselves. Okay, 8. There's another 8 here. Let's be in alignment with ourselves. And there's 2 7s. So that we need to move out of being conflicted with ourselves. We need to move out, because we need to move out of the space of being in self-conflict, because if we're not in alignment with who we are, with what is alive in us, including, what we do for work, who we are out in the places of others, in society included, that's going to reflect upon us right now. And that's kind of some of the energy here. That's what I'm picking up on. So my findings are that we need to move into alignment with ourselves, and there will be something that we're leaving behind, difficulty, indecision, confusion, being overwhelmed, and it's going to require that we move into the energy of being embodied here in the physical. So our spiritual body, our etheric body, I want to say, does need to have attention. So that would be the confidence, the warmth, the intelligence, the grace. We really need to kind of live out loud that way. And the recommendation for that is to open the eyes to the possibilities truly, and to go ahead and allow the seeds to be planted. I don't really feel like it's going to be going back to school or apprenticeship. I feel like it's really going to be moving into alignment, and we may need to find skills to move into alignment. We may need to join temple service more often. We may need to join a temple lodge more often. We may need to go on Meetup or some other social group to gain a bigger, better network, or refine our sense of standing in the community. Maybe our friends, people, places, and things. Ultimately, because we're moving towards the emotional and spiritual receptivity. Okay, so that's what I see here in terms of the energy. I do feel like happy times are ahead, but only when we finally refine who we are, our sense of connection, and move into being on the right path. Okay, if we're not in alignment with who we are and what the path is that we should be on, that's when things are going to get rather difficult. That will require us to face some kind of cold, harsh truth. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call out the spirits. Wow, that came right out. And then I will do the sermon in the temple. You can find that link in the show notes. So that was the moon card, the High Priestess in reverse, Lovers in reverse, the Hermit again, the Temperance in reverse, Empress in reverse, Sun in reverse, Hangman, Judgment in reverse, Chariot in reverse, Strength card, Devil in reverse, Hierophant, and the Death card in reverse. So we got the Sun, which I was feeling a lot. We have, again, several Venus cards out on the board. That would be the Empress here in reverse, so that it came out twice. And the Strength card. Strength card I find opposite a lot from the Star card. Okay? So, and that's going to tell us a lot about getting onto the right path. So we'll talk about that over in the temple. If you want to join the sermon, go ahead and check the link out in the show notes, or you can go over to vertexofabundance.org/oracle/series, and you'll see that under Soul Purpose Saturday. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you today. Thank you for allowing me the privilege and the pleasure to do so. If anything I said resonates deeply with you, I would suggest a couple things. Number one, maybe consider a consultation or spiritual counsel. I want to get these messages out. I'm eager to get over into the sermon. Pardon my babbling. There's a lot of energy to dispel here and to illuminate and elucidate for the congregation. But what we're going to do is just talk really quickly about options for contact. office.vertexofabundance.org. The link is also in the show notes for consultations or assessments. Also, spiritual counsel is available to you there. And that's if anything I said resonates deeply with you. Now, you would probably want to check out the sermon before coming to a session, because I may illuminate and elucidate some of that energy that you may have questions about. But of course, if anything resonates deeply with you and you're called or compelled to reach out, we welcome that. Please take good care of yourself until we meet again, until we read again. Namaste, Dandavat, and Nashe. See you soon, great family. Bye-bye.